So, first and foremost, I hope everybody is doing well and having a wonderful week. I really hope you guys are going to enjoy this video. It's going to be super long, but I'm going to let you know how my Meps processing went as well as my stay at the Meps hotel. Hopefully, this helps future enlistees or people who are currently in the DEP program, which I'm pretty much saying program twice because the P and DEP stand. Don't worry about that. Here we go. So, we're about to jump straight into this, guys. So first, you have to pretty much do your paperwork and things like that with your recruiter in order to get set up with like a date in order to get set up for Meps. Once your pre-screening gets approved and like all your paperwork and things like that is good to go, you'll be able to go to Meps. But first, before you go to Meps, you will be going to the Meps hotel. Now the military pays for pretty much everything, so nothing's gonna come out of your pocket unless you choose to drive to the hotel and to Meps, which usually most people just take obviously the freebies. You know what I mean? You got to take the freebies when you can get them. It's already starting off good, you know. So you'll get your date for when you go to the Meps hotel. Obviously you're gonna be dressing appropriately. No tees, shirts with anything that are I've seen figures on them or just anything bad on it. Just wear normal clothing. You know what I mean? Like a regular t-shirt, black, regular pants, maybe dress pants or something like that. The Meps Hotel was probably my favorite part of the entire experience, simply because I got to meet a lot of different recruits that were going to like the Navy, Coast Guard, some other Air Force people that were actually shipping out that same night, which was really cool, really nerve-wracking obviously for them, but they all seem pretty confident and I'm sure that they're doing well. So when you get to the Meps Hotel, you will have to go to a briefing that was at 8:30 for us. I'm not sure what other locations what they do, but you had to be at that briefing for 8:30. So like, don't be late. Don't be just kind of feeling like I'm gonna be cool and show up 30 minutes or out late. They will send you home for stuff like that. So just try to avoid stuff like that. They do feed you. You get lunch. They feed you one time. That was from 5 to 9. Stay away from the sugary drinks. You don't want your blood pressure spiked a little bit while you're at the Meps place getting your blood pressure taken. You don't want any issues like that. And try not to eat too much of the sweets. They put stuff like that out there for a reason to kind of like, you know what I'm saying, entice you to kind of do bad like the very night before. Especially for you all who are like, like really close to your weight, but you don't have like enough room. That's why I always suggest being at least I would say about 6 to 10 pounds away from your maximum weight. So, do that and have that taken care of before you even really get to Meps. I actually like the hotel I stayed at. I loved my roommate. She was pretty cool. She was actually going to the Army for field artillery. So that was pretty different. And she was just awesome. So I actually got her number and we still kind of stay in contact now, and hoping to possibly just stay in contact with her throughout her career when she gets in, and once I'm through with basic, being able to have somebody to reach out to and talk to, obviously. So yeah, just enjoy that Meps experience, guys. Like, you will have a roommate, unless there's just like an incredibly low amount of people, you will have a roommate. So that makes it easier on you to make friends or possibly make friends. You will have to check out with them. You are not allowed to come downstairs without your roommate. You're not allowed to go to breakfast without your roommate. You have to get on the bus with your roommate. So it's kind of like you're getting used to already like a buddy system, kind of like having a battle buddy in basic training, situation like that. Maybe I didn't say that right, battle buddy, but just, how like in basic training when you have to go to the restroom or go to talk to your MTI, something like that, you have to have somebody with you at all times. So you will have to have somebody with you at all times. So there will be a pool to use. There will be a pool. But I wouldn't do that unless you already been through medical, because they don't want you to have any of that water in your ears. And obviously you don't want your hearing messed up with the hearing test. You do not want to fail the hearing test because that would disqualify you from a lot of different jobs. Yeah, so just don't get in a pool. There is a gym, so feel free to use the gym. you know, how you see fit. Some Meps locations I've heard are not letting a lot of the recruits use the gym. I'm not really sure why that is. Possibly due to people messing things up or, you know, something like that. So yeah, that's pretty much for the hotel. As far as like that first initial stay, you will have a wake up call at 4:15 in the morning. Means, you know, that means pretty much get up earlier than that. I got up at 3. Me and my roommate got up at 3. Funny thing is, I actually woke up at 3:45. My alarm went off at 3:45, and I woke up like, oh my goodness, like we're late for the bus. And then my roommate woke up and like she was like, oh man, we're late for the bus, and we're running around the room. You know what I'm saying? Like we don't know what to do because we missed the bus. The bus doesn't get there till 5:20. So we kind of like you know, got nervous. Like I actually caused the panic. I'm not even gonna lie. Like I don't, you know, I was in deep sleep and then my alarm kind of just disturbed me. So that is an experience I will never forget, to say the least. So I actually did love my roommate. Again, you will have a roommate, male and female. Males go with males. Females will go with females. So hopefully you get along, you know, well with your roommate. It's not the best when you have a roommate that's not really, you know, fun to talk to. But anywho, so once you catch the bus at 5:20 in the morning or 5:21, 5:22, if they get there a couple minutes late, you will be heading to the Meps at the Atlanta location, which is about 19 minutes from the Meps Holiday Inn Express. Once you get there, you will get your first taste of what it is like to be getting off the basic training bus. You will have, as soon as you get off, you will have ladies lining up on the left and men lining up on the right. Don't get confused by stuff like that. I have no idea why a lot of people get confused. That part really like threw people for some reason. They tell you what to do. So the lady said, you know, when you go in, you put your bag on the left or on the right, depending on obviously if you're on the left or the right. You put your bag down, you slide the bag, you go through the metal detector. Once you go through that metal detector, you grab your bag, and then you go put your bag in the x-ray machine for your bag to make sure you don't have like contraband, anything, you know what I'm saying, that shouldn't be in there. Weapons. Do not bring weapons to Meps. Please don't do that. People are doing that. I'm not sure why. Don't do that because your processing will stop there. But her specific directions were to put your thing through the machine, and once it goes on the table, once it goes on that table, grab your bag by walking around the table, not like walking up to the table. So many people were just walking up to the table instead of doing what she said to do, and she was making them go back outside, starting completely over. People were getting yelled at. It was just a bunch of chaos. Now, keep in mind that the last time I went to Meps, it was less than 30 degrees. So there was like frost outside. So it was really cold. So just do yourself a favor and do everything you're supposed to do on the first go around so you can kind of eliminate all of those problems. You know what I mean? You don't want to have to be one of those people that get yelled at and like all this extra shit. You know what I mean? So you go through that, and once you will only be allowed to bring your social security card and your ID. Your phone has to be turned off in your bag, or you can hand it to your liaison. But you know what I'm saying, just to be safe, just put it in your bag. You know, they can literally kick you out if they see it. A lot of people were trying them on that, and well, you know how that goes. So you will go to your service liaison. Each branch has their own service liaisons. You'll get your paperwork started. They'll go over your profile with you. They'll be setting up your interviews, you know, things like that. But even before that, I'm skipping a process. You actually have to go to medical, which is where you go through your physical. Ladies, I'm going to say this. Do not be nervous about when they're asking you to take your clothes off and things like that. Take your clothes off. Take your shirt off. Take your pants off. Take everything off that they tell you to take off. You will at some point be naked in front of your doctor. It is just basically like a regular doctor's checkup. They literally will tell you, at least they told us, that if you are shy about things like that, they can disqualify you like that if you are hesitant about taking your clothes off because they don't have time to waste. Ladies and gentlemen, you are joining the military. So you're going to have to be used to being naked in front of people you don't know. You know what I'm saying? When you go in the shower and things like that, that's just a part of the that's a part of the field. But you know, when you get to your unit, you'll be used to a lot of these different people. But you have your own bathroom, you know, stuff like that. So, um, so the physical, it's not as bad as a lot of people make it out to be. It actually wasn't that bad for me. Like the duck walking part was basically like, let me show you the duck walk. It took like 10 seconds for me to do my whole physical. I'm not even joking. Like the doctor was just like in and out. She wanted to do duck walk, stand your tippy toe, do this. You know what I'm saying? I found myself doing the 2-step slide and all kinds of stuff. You know what I mean? Don't be tripping over the physical. It's really not that bad. It really just depends on who your doctor is. If you have a doctor that's a little bit particular about stuff, that does suck, because those are usually the ones that actually go check your medical records. And I've, you know, seen people disqualified at both times I've gone to Meps for things they did not tell their recruiter. Ladies and gentlemen, do not disclose very important medical information to your recruiter. He may tell you to lie and say different things like that, but if it's something on your medical record that you've been to the hospital for, you've been to the emergency room for, you need to let them know about that, because they have Genesis now. You give them the consent to look at your records when you're doing your pre-screening. That gives them authorization to check your medical records. So if you opt out of that, then you will not be able to enlist, because if they can't look at your medical records, then, you know, so if you have ADHD or history of, you know, skin problems or things like that, that's on your medical records, such as like eczema, psoriasis, or do you have mental health issues that you've been actually to a therapist for, or a psych, you know, place for, you need to disclose that information, because there are waivers for that. You know, I understand the waiver process sucks. Trust me, I needed one. Waited for like a month to get mine. Way better telling the truth than getting caught, you know, lying later down the line and getting PDQ, which is permanently disqualified. You don't want to do that. That is gonna suck. Like, you know, you don't want to have your processing stop like that. You know what I mean? So, just tell the truth. You have to take a urine test. You will have to get your blood drawn. If you're scared of needles, well, you know what I'm saying, just kind of suck it up. It's really not that bad. It's like this little small needle. Make sure you drink lots of water. Do not be that person that has to keep going to the water fountain to try to make sure that they are hydrated enough to pee. Because if after too many attempts, if you can't pee, they'll just send you home and you have to come back to Meps another day. Same with getting your blood drawn. Make sure you are hydrated. You do not want to be too dehydrated to where they can't take your blood. Same situation. You'll have to try to drink some water in order to get your blood drawn. And if after too many attempts that you are still failing to get your blood drawn, you will be sent home until you can obviously make sure you are hydrated enough in order to get your blood drawn. So I pretty much covered everything on that as far as your physical. The hearing test. So you'll get put in this room that, so you'll have to, basically you'll be in there with like a few people. I don't know how big some of the other hearing locations are for the hearing test inside the facility, but you'll have to put these headphones on. Do not miss a beat. Don't click like doing all this, you know what I'm saying? Like click one time. When you hear the beep, you can click multiple times after that. You know what I'm saying? Not like this, but like once you hear the boop, 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 click once. You don't hear nothing, you can click once when there's nothing. Because there's no penalization. That's not the right word I mean. You can't be penalized. You can't be penalized for not clicking, you know what I'm saying, or clicking during the time when there's no beeping. You can't be penalized for clicking it, you know what I'm saying. I just wanted to put this. But look, yeah, just don't go crazy with the clicking, guys. You know what I mean? Like, click when you need to click. Pretty simple. Just don't miss a beat at the end of the day. You don't want to do that, you know, like I said. So now we have the vision test where you get your eyes checked out. You know what I mean? A lot of people get nervous about that. Same thing as with the hearing test. You don't want to fail that either. You know, now you fail, it's one thing to fail the hearing, but to fail the vision on, like, let's just say like color blindness, it's going to really knock you from a lot of different jobs. You know what I'm saying? Like, you really don't want to get knocked down by that. You know what I mean? So, you know, it's going to give you, like, obviously when you ever been to the eye doctor, they'll have different lines of different letters. and the doctor's trying to see how far you can read down those lines to see how good your vision, if it's like 20/20, 20/50, or you need like glasses or something, like you just completely blind, something like that. They'll have you on this machine where you have to actually look through like this telescope kind of looking thing, and there's an image in there. Mine was of like a hot air balloon, and you have to like say what you see, and then like you have to read like letters in the air balloon. So it's pretty easy. That you'll feel that if you really just have like really poor eyesight, but other than that, you really should be fine with the vision test. I did fail depth perception. Didn't really knock me for anything because my jobs were kind of limited anyway. So, you know, there's that. Once you've passed all of that, at this stage, you're pretty much just going through your background check, getting fingerprinted. What else is there? So that point, they're just double checking your profile and making sure that there's nothing that has changed, such as you having moved, gotten married, new job, all these, you know, different changes that could have happened. So once you pass through all of that, your background check is perfect. Nothing comes up on your fingerprints, and your interview goes well during that background check. Now you can officially take your oath of enlistment, which is called swearing in. And then you will be put in the delayed entry program. You will be depping in to the Air Force. That's what I did. I depped in to the Air Force. So I swore in on December 7th, actually. And that was probably one of the most proudest moments of my life. Actually being able to walk into this room with this fancy old red carpet and raise my right hand with a bunch of strangers who were actually pretty cool, and being the only female. There's really not a lot of women in the military. So it's also really cool when you are in there and you are representing that small percentage of women who not only qualify but actually stick with it. That's a very, very wonderful feeling. So currently now just awaiting my ship date, which is on the 2nd. So that's going to be super fun. I'll probably have one more video before I leave, and then you guys will not be hearing from me until probably about late February, like mid-February, while I'm in tech school. So